Hello, you're listening to or watching the More Than Roommates podcast. I'm Dan.
And I'm Graham.
And today we want to talk about men's fashion. So, normally on these episodes, we try to pull out the stops, wear some fashionable clothing. Graham has always been the more fashionable one, and I am trying to work on becoming more fashionable. So can you tell us a little bit about like your history with fashion?
Yeah. Honestly, I would say probably by the time I hit high school for sure, maybe even like late middle school, I was kind of getting interested in how do I look cool. That was kind of where the whole thing started. It's like I wanted to try to fit in, you know what I mean? But I guess went through this whole huge journey, which I'm sure once you get to a certain age, it's like kind of fun to look back, at all the different trends and stuff. But yeah, I would say it started pretty early. It could have even started earlier than that. My parents like to take us shopping, and I don't know. We always kind of had like some cool threads. We had Nikes when we were kids, and kind of all the.
So were you trying to mimic like things that you saw other classmates wearing, or were you taking it from like movies?
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point. So I went to Catholic school, which I know I've mentioned on our pod multiple times, and kind of because of that, we wore uniforms, So there was kind of it was a different ball game, I guess, for me growing up compared to like my public school counterparts that, had to wear their own threads every day. Having a uniform, I think they tried to, it was supposed to make it more equitable for everyone. Yeah. So people, weren't jealous of whatever another person had and try to standardize everything. Of course, I'm sure they wanted to control,
Yeah. So did that put on the pressure after after school events, or did you like, okay, yes, I can wear whatever I want. I'm going to go all out.
Yeah. You wanted to like, if there were ever anything after school or like after a dance or something, for sure, like that was kind of the name of the game, was to go impress your peers as much as you could. But it's just funny looking back, like all the cringe fits, you would say. But I feel like that happens with every generation though. Even looking back like a decade now, when I was in my college days and whatnot, 20s, everything was all about the kind of like slim and skinny fit, like super tight, super uncomfortable jeans, until they brought that stretchy jean material. That was like a game changer
for sure.
It was 2000s, definitely it was like big baggy clothes, early 2000s, late 90s. I always kind of hated that look because I was always a beanpole growing up, and I felt like any kind of clothing that had like a lot of billowiness to it just didn't look right. I felt like I got swallowed by clothing. So I was pretty excited, when that whole era of the slim stuff came out. But before that, I would say when things really took off for me was definitely like mid 2000s, like the Abercrombie and Fitch, Hollister, like Aeropostale era. That was where I really started to kind of like play around and experiment and kind of got interested. Going back to your question earlier, movies were big. We just watched a movie from 2005 the other day, and I looked at Dana. I was like, I had that same fit.
Yeah.
It was like kind of like boot cut jeans with the kind of like the blue striped button down, not button up. There's a difference. A button down like kind of shirt where it's sort of casual. It has a collar and everything, and it you could
definitely
tuck it
like
in
the popped collar era, or like the long sleeve shirt under a short sleeve shirt.
That was definitely a couple years before. I had some O'Neill stuff. To your point, I guess I've played around with it a lot. So after kind of like this whole Abercrombie era, I kind of tried to just like downplay everything, when I was starting to come into myself a little bit more. And we've discussed, these topic points where we'll lean into kind of like, I guess, your trajectory on clothing too.
Yeah.
But there was a time where I did try to like do a 180 from like the preppy era, because people were mean, they were mean kids. They were like, oh, well, if he dresses like that, he must be gay,
Yeah.
So I tried to, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of leans into where I was like my fashion throughout. I've always tried to blend in. Like I thought that was like an easy way for people to clock if I was gay or not. It was if I was fashionable.
Right.
So I was very much in high school, like gym shorts and a hoodie. That was it, and I felt comfortable hidden away in that. But more recently I've been wanting to venture into the edgier, more trendy space, especially after watching you. Graham is like very adventurous with your looks. You would try stuff that I would be too scared to try, but even seeing the reaction that you get from people has been so cool that I'm like, okay, now I want to try it.
Yeah. How many coats did I have to buy with some like nice colorful patterns and like cuts and things? I do like to experiment at this age with nicer pieces too, like ASOS. I've been shopping around on that website for at least over a decade now, and it was nice. Like you can, if it doesn't work, you can send it back. And I know like you don't like to go shopping much either, so that was kind of. I feel like my clothing spending has slowed down a lot since we've been together too.
Oh, really?
I mean, kind of to an extent, because I used to go shopping like a lot in person too. Like and
without my desire.
He hates shopping for the most part. So
and part of what's also come into my fashion recently is it's kind of like the So my last 2 jobs I've had were so strict on my attire. Now, when I was in news, that kind of made sense, but I was only allowed to wear a white shirt or a light blue shirt. I could go crazy with the tie. And then my last job was also had to wear a tie, button down. Like even in the summertime, I bought a bunch of polos because we would do like summer hours, and it said like you can wear like less formal stuff. So I was like, okay, I went and got a bunch of polos, and they were like, no. So I think I feel like I'm in my like Disney Channel era, like where as soon as you're out of that strict enforcement, like now I want to explore my style and wear stuff that is still business professional, but like, okay, I don't have to wear a tie every day. I can be business professional without wearing. And I think sometimes that also helps young business professionals look older. Like if you try to just wear like the standard stuff, sometimes if you look trendy, it makes you look more mature and more comfortable, or especially stuff that flatters yourself. So you've been helping me try to elevate my work attire just because it's something I want to do, and I'm now able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of experimenting with different brands, it is easy to get into a pattern, of like comfort, kind of like you said earlier too, with like the hoodie or what have you,
For sure. I tried Stitch Fix, was not super impressed with that.
That was such a bummer. I thought it was going to be lit.
I know.
And
it was safe stuff. It's on my channel or on my TikTok or something if you want to look for it. It wasn't bad clothing.
Sorry, I'm sweating. I need a drink.
Oh, you're fine. It wasn't terrible stuff. It just was like stuff I feel like I would get anyway, and that wasn't what I wanted. Yeah,
or not. I mean,
expensive Kohl's. Like it was $90 for jeans and $50 for a polo,
and they weren't that flattering.
No,
not for that price.
No. So I mean, it was probably I could have given it another try, but I was like, well, I wanted something like out of the box that I wouldn't get myself. So if you're watching the video, we are wearing some different attire. So kind of what we wanted to do for fun getting into this was buy each other we went to the thrift store and bought each other some outfits, like something that maybe we wouldn't do. So kind of talk about the shirt that I'm wearing.
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, you picked it up.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to see him in like a little bit of a fun print. so to speak.
So
Something like
so I'm wearing
a
a
very adventurous, I think, for you.
yeah,
Like
I love it. So I'm wearing a button down. It's gray, but it has like tropical birds on it and is very like
toucan. I see
toucan.
toucans and
Yeah, I
yeah.
really like it. And then with Graham,
Oh
I went
yeah.
with a Def
Def
Leopard
Leppard, yeah.
tie dye, gray tie dye, or what is it? A bleach tie dye?
Yeah.
Bleach
It's like
tie
a
dye.
bleach tie or something, yeah.
It is. I
I
think
don't
both
know.
of these
It's
are
like
something we would
blue
have
or
worn or picked out ourselves, but it
yeah.
wasn't super crazy. Went to Plato's Closet.
Yeah. How
Lot.
did you know that this is my mom's favorite
I
band?
know.
I saw Def Leppard and Brian Adams in like '04 with my stepbrother and
Oh,
or my brother and our parents too. So
that's
I
awesome. Yeah. So
was like, okay,
yeah,
lit.
it was a little fun little shopping thing. Got me
Yeah.
out of the house to buy some clothes that I wouldn't normally get.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm kind of getting back to like the journey.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 20s were definitely I spent a lot on like fast fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while I'll get a few pieces. But now that I'm kind of in my 30s, I'm trying to buy higher quality items are kind of a big thing. You know, sustainability is huge in my mind at this point. When you're
Mm-hmm.
younger, like I guess the younger generations do care. I feel like a lot more than maybe we did when we were
You're
younger,
also
but
growing when you're younger, so you'll grow out
that's
of it.
true.
But now we're at the point where we're done growing. So if we
True.
get
The
stuff, it can
styles still
last.
change. Too.
Correct.
But kind of cool though, because then you can hang on to stuff.
Yeah.
And I know I see a lot of Gen Z youth. It looks like we know friends of that era that like to go thrifting, like
Oh yeah.
for their full fits, and they look good too. I wish I like had a little more
ability to
ability
do.
to
Yeah.
kind of parse through stuff like that too. But yeah, now I try to focus on what they call like it's a similar verbiage to a different topic, but they call them hero pieces.
Mhm.
So you spend, you know, like as you get to your 30s, it's maybe wise to spend, you know, a little more money on higher quality on like these hero pieces like that the coat, you know,
Yes.
or that kind of like that very thick blazer I bought.
Yeah.
We have a really cool store in KC called the ULaw that we like to go to. They have like very unique, I don't know, maybe European brands or brands I had never heard of that are like super high quality.
Yeah.
I definitely am getting to that point where I like to just spend a little bit more on like nice stuff like that and just kind of try to mix and match my stuff a little bit more, you know,
Yeah.
get a few quality pieces and try to mix it up. But
Yeah, we have to talk about your green suit.
yeah.
So we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
went to a California wedding. It was beautiful. Congratulations to the Engels.
Yeah. We had a
But
blast.
Graham got this suit, and tell us about it.
Yeah, so I definitely fall like I don't want to say like victim to like targeted marketing.
It was like
but
an Instagram
I
ad.
had Instagram, Facebook, you know, Meta. I guess it's all one and the same. But I do like if I see a targeted ad, you know, like more than a few times, and I'm still interested in it, I'll start looking into it.
Yeah.
And so I bought an air suit, is how they're marketing it, by this company called Twillery. This thing is sick. Like I was a little worried at first, like kind of
Like the
it
quality.
sort of looks like a kind of like a mesh. It looks like nicer than like athletic mesh, I would say, but it's kind of a mesh type material. We'll have to like get some pictures
Yeah.
or something, or
Yeah,
we
there'll
should
be
just do
pictures
a little
up.
like we need a little catwalk down here.
Yeah.
Dan. We need to
Do
record some fits or something. But yeah. So the entire suit is breathable. Like you can actually feel the air kind of move through it if it's breezy enough. And of course, it, you know, lets some of the heat out too.
And
It's still warm, you know,
Yeah,
but
it's still a lot of
way,
layers.
way more comfortable than a traditional suit. Because I bought that really cool, kind of like a dusty pink blazer from Dillard's like a year ago for like more of a summer suit. I wanted to wear it, but then I was just like, man, I remember like wearing it to the weddings last year we went to and just sweating,
Yeah.
and then it's like, it's gross.
So his green suit,
Yeah.
he got so many compliments.
I
I wasn't
did.
sure, like when he ordered it, I was like, oh, that could either
We'll
be really
see.
good or. So I didn't order one. And as soon as his showed up, I was like, dang, I should have ordered one myself, but it wouldn't have arrived in time. But he got lots of compliments from, we were going to this California wedding, a lot of people in the
Yeah.
scene. So I was like, ooh, this will be a good
We'll
test.
see how
Yeah.
it fares. Yeah.
And so that one was great. So Twillery, give us the check.
Yeah.
Like that was awesome. And then Graham has also got a pearl necklace, which at first I was like, men wearing pearls.
Crafted.
Yeah.
CRAFT apostrophe D. I think there's an apostrophe. Again, more targeted marketing I'd been getting for years on like jewelry, necklaces mostly.
And they look good on you too. I was impressed.
They launched their pearl collection last year, and I was like, or it was something like freshwater pearls, something landed, and I was like, ooh, like I could see myself kind of getting into that sort of islandy, beachy, kind of summery vibe, really.
Yeah.
And it's not like a round, like super feminine pearl necklace, which there's nothing wrong with that.
But it's like an androgynous.
It's got because they're pearls, but they're like different shapes and sizes, and they've got some like little golds,
connecting,
like kind of ball things, connecting pieces too. I didn't think it would go with this fit, so I didn't.
I wanted him to wear it.
He was like, "You're gonna put them on," and I'm like, I don't think it really goes with this vibe. But
and the other thing that so yes, I want those look great. And when we were in California, we were doing a lot of walking. We didn't do a rental car. We just Ubered everywhere, and we went to the beach, and I had gotten a free little fanny pack, and I was trying to wear it as like a crossbody, and I want to get a crossbody now, which before I wouldn't have like done it, but it was very useful.
Lots of people wear it. I actually like it. I mean, we used to, like, if anyone of my era would like get roasted for doing that like 20 years ago, it's like, oh, you have a fanny pack, but you used to wear it around the waist. I guess I wasn't really talking to the mic, but yeah, they look good over the body, and like you can carry, like, we took our sunscreen, we had like all kinds of stuff just on deck.
It was nice.
It was nice, so, for sure.
I've
Walking along the beach with it, like,
I've been not so subtly letting Graham know that I would love a crossbody. So but we just wanted to talk about men's fashion. Oh, we didn't get to talk about. So we did go when I was about to start my new job. We went to the mall, and it was a very popular mall, and it's thriving in KC. But every store we went into had the same shirts, like that knitted, like, that trendy influencer. I love this style. I have some, but I was like,
and I ended up, because that's all there was.
I know,
really,
it's
like
so crazy.
every single store we looked at fast fashion places like H&M. We went into Abercrombie and Fitch. Like, they've completely done a whole rebrand. By the way, because I've talked about Abercrombie a couple times, I want to drop the White Hot documentary.
Oh, that was good.
I think it was on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out.
Very
like,
interesting.
it was such a toxic era, but it was kind of like cool to see them rebrand and kind of be a little more inclusive. They're much more inclusive now than they used to be. I remember while we were in that store, I was like, whoa, they have like a black polo. Like, they used to be very preppy, like they wouldn't allow anyone to wear black clothing. I think it was like in the 2000s, it was like, oh, those are like the Hot Topic kids, which I had stuff from Hot Topic too. Like, I've always had band t-shirts and stuff, like, and always want to wear a polo, but sorry, I kind of went running with that. But
the White Hot.
So Abercrombie, we looked in like what was that place kind of going out that I used to go into? The men's.
I don't know.
Can't think of it.
But it was eye-opening to see like
the
how everything was just the same, just in different patterns, essentially. So.
Yeah, I feel like that's the most the same I've ever seen anything. Usually, you could get kind of like different styles, but I think everyone, maybe not everyone, but I know for sure. Like, I talked about where we were at 10 years ago with like the super tightish, stuff like that stuff. I don't know.
Now it's
not comfortable. It's like, I'm glad we're kind of back into like a loose fitting era, because it feels better in the summer when you can
Yeah.
breathe and you're not like, you don't have like skin tight stuff, you know. Of course, I liked all that when I was like super fit and muscular. It was like, yeah, I want to show off all my progress, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's like, whatever, just
Sleeper builds.
throw something, yeah.
Yeah.
Throw something on me, keep me cool for sure.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of like what we wanted to talk about. If you
Yeah,
guys have any like websites or companies that you go to, or like any men's fashion tips or things that you're in, products you're into right now, please let us
yeah,
know. As always, like and subscribe. Trying to keep this brand growing.
yeah. We gotta. I don't know if we can make like a short or something. We should just like throw some like fits together, just kind of show like what we've got going on now.
Yeah,
You know, maybe
for
something
sure.
like that. I don't know.
Yeah, very
See.
cool.
We'll see.
Awesome. Well, we will see you next week.
All right, thanks.